News at 5, in association with Accoland Amusement Park, Annapurna Foods, Junior Holics, and Biz Farm Biscuits.
BJP clean sweep in Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council polls. Result on expected lines, says Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma. Party leaders term victory as people's decision to vote for peace and development. Congress draws blank in Karbi Anglong Council polls. APCC President blames indiscipline within party for repeated drubbings. Mega eviction drive in Manipur as the state government acts tough against encroachers. Drive carried out from the ITI Lilong to White Hau Khongnang Karak of Imphal More National Highway. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma takes strong exception to poor show by a section of government schools in HSLC exams. Gives veiled warning to teachers. And Yogi Adityanath government continues to act tough against protesters. Now bulldozers come out in Prayagraj in Assam, Section 144 imposed in Karimganj district. Hello to all the viewers and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Aaron Lingdo. We begin with the big story that we've been tracking all day. The Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma's campaign blitzkrieg in Karbi Anglong has resulted in the BJP managing a clean sweep of the Autonomous Council elections. The otherwise little followed council elections was rendered high profile this time, with Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma addressing close to 24 public rallies in the nook and corner of the hill districts in the run-up to the polls. Well, the KAAC poll victory adds another feather to the BJP cap, with the party winning it all, even at the grassroots level, since it came to power in the state in 2016. Now, as per the latest inputs, the BJP candidates have won or are ahead in all 26 council seats. And the visuals on your screen speaks for themselves. Well, this has been a thumping BJP win, a clean sweep to be precise. The people of Karbi Anglong, the BJP said, have voted for peace and development.
Result declare high goal 22 high goal jika high goal আর 26 আমার সমস্যা অপোজিশন মাত্র 90 পাইছে 9000 মই পালৈ ফার্স্ট রাউন্ড কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যৰ মই একদম অন্তৰৰ পৰা তেখেতসকলক মই যিটো মৰম যিটো আশীৰ্বাদ দিছে মই অন্তৰৰ পৰা চিৰ জীৱনলৈকে মই ধন্যবাদ দিছো কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যে ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি ভাল পায় নীতি আদৰ্শ লগতে নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়া ভাল পায় আৰু অমিত শাহ ডাঙৰীয়া ভাল পায় জেপি নাড্ডা ভাল পায় আৰু ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা বিশেষকৈ ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা ডাঙৰীয়া আমাৰ তেখেতসকলৰ কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যে যিটো নেকি ইয়াৰ ৰাজ্য কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যে সহজ সৰল মানুহবিলাক যে কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যে সহজ সৰল মানুহ ইয়াৰ মানুহে যদি মিছা কথা কয় তেনেহ'লে খুব বেয়া পায় দুইবাৰ তিনিবাৰ যদি মিছা কথা কয় কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যে বেয়া পায় গতিকে মিছা কথা আপোনালোকে ক'ব নালাগে মই নকওঁ কেতিয়াও ক'ব নালাগে
তথাপি যদি বিৰোধী নাইকিয়া হৈ যায় অলপ দুখ লাগিব নেকি মনত
এইটো কি ক'ম মানে মৰে
ভূপেন বৰা কিন্তু আহিছিলে যথেষ্ট ফাইট কৰি
ভূপেন বৰাটো জানে তেওঁ নিজে সমষ্টিটো তাতো হাৰিছে ইয়াত কাৰ্বি আংলঙৰ পলিটিক্স ৰাজনীতিক চিনি পাব নেকি ইয়াত যিবিলাকৰ ৰাইজৰ ইয়াত কাৰ্বি আংলং অকল কাৰ্বিসকলৰ বসবাস কৰা নহয় সকলো জাতি জনগোষ্ঠীয়ে ইয়াত বসবাস কৰে আমি কাৰ্বি আংলং সকলো জনজাতিৰ লগত থাকি কাৰ্বি আংলং 5টা বছৰ আমি শান্তি বুজাই ৰাখিছোঁ জয়নীতি কথাৰ এতিয়া পলিটিক্স নাজানে ৰাজনীতি আহিছেতো সি অফিচাৰ্ছ পৰা ৰাজনীতি সোমাইছে গতিকে তেখেতে লাহে লাহে বুজি পাব
আপুনি কৈছিলে যে যদি অসমৰ ভিতৰতে এখন উন্নত আৰু সকলো যি শান্তি আৰু প্ৰগতি সেই সকলোবোৰ দেখা পাব
কাৰ্বি আংলং হ'ব আপোনালোকে চাই থাকক
হয়
আজি ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা ডাঙৰীয়া আশীৰ্বাদ থাকিলে গোটেইখিনি হৈ যাব আৰু নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়া
ৰাস্তা ঘাট দলং যথেষ্ট
গোটেইখিনি হৈ যাব আপোনালোকে চিন্তা কৰিব নালাগে ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা ডাঙৰীয়া আৰু লগতে অমিত শ্বাহ ডাঙৰীয়া আৰু লগতে নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়া আশীৰ্বাদ থাকিলে কাৰ্বি আংলং এনেকৈ পৰিৱৰ্তন হ'ব এলিগেশ্যন ৰাইজে ভোট দিছে এতিয়া যিমান এলিগেশ্যন কৰিছে যিমান অপপ্ৰচাৰ কৰিছে মনোসজা কথা এলিগেশ্যনে এইবিলাক আপুনিও ক'ব পাৰে মনোসজা কথা যিবিলাকৰ মনোসজা কথা তেওঁলোকৰ এলিগেশ্যন আনিছে গতিকে কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাইজে ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি ভাল পায়
চিফ মিনিষ্টাৰ অলৰেডি ডিক্লেয়াৰ কৰিলে আপুনি চিএম হ'ব বুলি অলৰেডি কেম্পেইনত কৈ দিছে কি ক'ব
ৰাইজে যিটো দলে ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি যদি মোক এই সুবিধাটো দিয়ে মই আদৰণি কৰিব লাগিব যি দায়িত্ব দিয়ে তাকে কাম কৰিব লাগিব কালি ভিতৰত কালি আপোনালোকে যে ঝাৰু মাৰিব লাগে এইটো কৰিব লাগিব
কিন্তু আপোনাক চিএম বুলি অলৰেডি ডিক্লেয়াৰ কৰিছে
যদি ৰাইজে দলে যদি যি মোক দায়িত্ব দিয়ে সেইটোতো মানিব লাগিব
And earlier in the day, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma had said that the results were on expected lines.
মই আগতে কৈছো যে কাৰ্বি আংলঙত 26টাও হ'ব পাৰে 22-23টাও হ'ব পাৰে সেই ৰেঞ্জত আমি চলি থাকিম 22ৰ পৰা 26ৰ ৰেঞ্জতে থাকিব হয়তো ৰিজাল্ট 22টাও হ'ব পাৰে 23টাও হ'ব পাৰে 24টাও হ'ব পাৰে 26টাৰ 26টাও হ'ব পাৰে এই ৰেঞ্জত থাকিব
Well, it may be mentioned here that the BJP had contested in 26 seats, the Congress in 24, the ASDC in 17, and the Aam Aadmi Party in 10 seats. And these are live visuals on your screen. Merrymaking has already started in Karbi Anglong. There you see the Saffron Party workers already out celebrating. But let me remind our viewers here that the final result is yet to be announced, so we are not jumping the gun. But it seems that the party has already begun at Karbi Anglong. There you see supporters of the BJP already in the merry-making mood. Well, let me remind our viewers here that we still have, counting is still underway in remaining constituencies. Our correspondent is right there on the ground to give you all the lowdown. But like we said, for now, merrymaking has already begun in Karbi Anglong, and this is going to go on for a very long time, we reckon. All right, there are live visuals again that we're bringing to you from Karbi Anglong. People out on the streets. In fact, the BJP supporters Let me remind myself, these are BJP supporters out on the streets celebrating already, even though we still have, like I mentioned earlier, few constituencies left and counting is still underway. We're not jumping the gun until and unless we have the final results. There you can see people dancing on the streets already. And it seems that the BJP's hard work for now, if we go by the trends that we have at the moment, are paying off. Well, joining me live on the broadcast this evening is our editor-in-chief, Wasbir Hussain. Wasbir, so, it seems that the BJP's hard work in the run-up to the election has paid off if we go by the trends that we have at the minute. However, like I said earlier, we're not jumping the gun because we still have a few constituencies left and counting is still underway.
Absolutely, Aaron. The campaign blitz that was launched by Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, addressing 19 rallies across Karbi Anglong in a span of 4 days, that has resulted in this sweeping victory. BJP clearly has swept the Karbi Anglong District Council. There are 26 seats in the Karbi Anglong District Council. BJP has already won in 10 or 11 seats. Latest reports coming in. They have already won in 11 seats. The latest trends indicate that their contestants, the BJP candidates, are having a comfortable lead in the rest of the constituencies. So we can rightly say at this point in time that the BJP has absolutely swept the elections in Karbi Anglong. Now, that was as the Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma said, the win was on expected lines. At the end of the day, the BJP fought these elections on the plank of peace and development. And we were talking to the Tuliram Ronghang, the outgoing CEM, Chief Executive Member of the Karbi Anglong District Council. He had also said before the short while ago he said that peace and development will be the top priority of the new BJP-led council in Karbi Anglong. And earlier when we spoke to him, the Tuliram Ronghang said that this election was fought on the agenda of peace and development. So the peace and development agenda of the BJP has absolutely clicked, and the polls that was always been little noticed, the elections to the district council in Karbi Anglong, but this time it has become an absolutely high-profile poll thanks to Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, who campaigned relentlessly. 19 meetings, remember, 19 meetings in a span of 4 days for a chief minister. And as Tuliram Ronghang, a veteran political player, said in the morning, he said that he has not seen in his political career any other chief minister campaigning so vigorously for a council election in favor of his party. So all these combined together, a weak opposition, a disjointed opposition, and that was admitted by none other than the Bhupen Bora, the Assam Congress president. The Congress still should be considered as the main opposition party. The chief of that party, Bhupen Bora, said a short while ago that the Congress loss is because of internal indiscipline. That is the word he used, internal indiscipline. So this is a constant drubbing that the Congress has faced from ever since 2021 assembly elections, then we had the panchayat elections, then we had the municipal council elections, then with the Guwahati Municipal Corporation elections, and now the Karbi Anglong polls. The Congress's drubbing has been absolutely complete, and that is, there is that void left behind by the Congress. The void left behind by the Congress is sought to be filled by parties like the Aam Aadmi Party, but without much of a success. In the Guwahati Municipal Corporation election, the Aam Aadmi Party won one ward, and in the Panchayat elections, they have won a couple of committees in Eastern Assam. So apart from that, apart from showing some early morning leads, and Aam Aadmi Party is not leading anymore. That's what we are reports getting in as far as Karbi Anglong is concerned. On the whole, BJP's plank of peace and development yielding results. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma's vigorous campaign has yielded results, and one can say that this election results in Karbi Anglong can be considered as a referendum to the one-year-old government of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, the one-year-old BJP-led government of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. It is well can be considered as a referendum. Aaron.
Exactly. Peace and overall development and unemployment has actually clicked with the people. And Wasbi, right now we're also joined by Arindam Das from Ground Zero. Over to you.
Welcome to this bulletin. Orindam, our chief of bureau, standing by, bringing us live coverage of on this result day in Karbi Anglong. Orindam, the mood seems to be ecstatic. So what is the BJP attributing this victory to? We have seen Tuliram Ronghang saying that the peace and development agenda has clicked. Or you must have spoken to some of the candidates as well as their supporters. What is the mood on the ground?
Well, you see, the mood is upbeat in the BJP camp because the BJP is all set to sweep the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council elections once again. So far, we have got indications, in fact, reports that the BJP has won in 10 seats already out of the 26 seats, and the remaining seats where the counting is going on, there also the Bharatiya Janata Party candidates are leading way ahead. The second contender in this competition remains the Congress Party, and in 2 seats it is the 2 regional parties who have stood second. But yes, speaking of on what plank the BJP moved ahead, we have seen in Karbi Anglong, we have traveled the length and breadth of Karbi Anglong right from the campaigning days when the campaign was spearheaded by Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, who had addressed 19 rallies across the length and breadth of Karbi Anglong in a day span of just 4. And apart from that, all the ministers came here. They also did campaigning. And also the other MLAs of the Bharatiya Janata Party also came here. They also campaigned here. In fact, we have come to know from some of the ministers as well as MLAs who were here in Karbi Anglong during the campaigning. They told us that the Chief Minister gave them a clear instruction that they should go there, camp there, and go ahead with the high-profile campaign because BJP has taken this election very seriously, and it is an important election for them.
Right. Orindam, if you can, yes, Arindam, if you can hear me, we are hearing that the BJP is already planning a massive oath taking of the new council. So are you hearing the date? When is it likely to take place? And we are hearing that even the chief minister might go to Diffu to be present during the swearing in of the newly elected council members. So it is going to be a big show for that the BJP is planning. That is what we are hearing.
Yes, definitely. The Chief Minister himself indicated that the swearing-in ceremony is going to be a grand one because during the rallies only he said that he will not come to Karbi Anglong or the Diffu on the day of the counting when the results will be declared, when he got the indication, and in fact he said that BJP is all set to sweep the polls. He said that he will come to Karbi Anglong either on 14th or 15th. So the vote taking is likely to take place on 14th or 15th of June. That is the clear indication which the Assam Chief Minister gave during the rallies he had addressed here in Karbi Anglong.
So the big breaking story at this point, viewers, is that the swearing in of the newly elected BJP councillors for the Karbi Anglong district council, the swearing in is likely to take place either on the 14th or the 15th of this month. So 14th or 15th is the likely date for the swearing in. It is going to be a grand affair, and it is also likely that the Chief Minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, and several other top BJP ministers and leaders are going to be present during this swearing in. At the end of the day, the BJP has swept the Karbi Anglong. The BJP supporters are absolutely ecstatic across Karbi Anglong, and the opposition reduced, absolutely the opposition reduced completely to shambles. There is no trace of any opposition in Karbi Anglong at this point in time, if this trend indicates, if this trend is to go on till the end of the counting. But what is significant is that it's a big victory for the BJP, big victory for the policies and programs, big endorsement of the policies and programs of the BJP-led government headed by Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. Aaron.
Upbeat atmosphere there from Karbi Anglong. All eyes on the swearing-in ceremony that was likely going to happen on the 14th and the 15th. Our editor-in-chief, Wesbir Hussain, thank you so much for joining me. And my colleague, Arindam Das, thank you for bringing us all those inputs. All right, like we said there, the atmosphere is upbeat in Karbi Anglong. The Saffron Party workers and supporters are already celebrating the victory of the BJP. But like we said, we will wait for the final result to be out. And this is where you will find it. We will bring you all the latest details right here on Northeast Live. Well, meanwhile, we have reactions coming in from BJP's D. Ufing Maslai, who has won from the Amri seat. He defeated his nearest rival by a margin of over 900 votes.
মই প্ৰথম প্ৰতিক্ৰিয়া হিচাপে আমৰিৰ ৰাইজক মই ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছোঁ তেখেতে পুনৰ অট'নমাছ কাউন্সিললৈ নিৰ্বাচিত কৰাৰ বাবে
পৰিকল্পনা কি আছে যেহেতু প্ৰথমবাৰ আকৌ আপোনাৰ জয়লাভ কৰিলে কি পৰিকল্পনা আছে
পৰিকল্পনাটো এতিয়া উন্নয়নৰ কামবিলাক মই জোৰ দিম ৰাস্তাই হওক বা এডুকেশ্যন ইনষ্টিটিউচনে হওক টুৰিজিমেই হওক এইবিলাক মই জোৰ দিম
এতিয়া 9টা পৰিষদীয় সমষ্টি 8টা এতিয়াও বিজেপিয়ে লিড লৈ আছে ফলাফলৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আপুনি কি ক'ব
9টা সমষ্টি ৱেষ্ট কাৰ্বি আংলঙৰ 9টা সমষ্টি 9টাতে বিজেপি মানে জয় লাভ কৰিব ৰাইজক মই এইটোৱে আহ্বান জনাইছোঁ পুনৰ আমাৰ ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টীৰ লগত সহযোগ কৰক আমি উন্নয়নৰ কামবিলাক যেনেকুৱা আছে সেইবিলাক আমি কৰি লৈ যাম আৰু ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টীৰ আমাৰ শ্লোগান আছে সবকে সাথ সবকে বিকাশ সবকে বিশ্বাস আৰু সবকে প্ৰয়াস সেইটো মতে আমি সকলো ৰাইজক লৈ পেলাই আমি উন্নয়নৰ কাম কাজত মানে আগুৱাই
We also have reactions coming in from another winning candidate, Ritesh Inghi, who has won from the Momati seat.
We have with us a winning candidate from Nomati constituency, Ritesh Inghi. Well, initial reaction.
This is not my winning, but it's winning of my constituency people by the blessing of everyone, elderly and also and I have some vision. So coming this we have education policy, how to for more better societies and all these things. There are a lot of planning today. I'm happy all of because my Korjakarta, they are working day and night, and also our BJP government has given some of the very some scheme and all this thing, and also the people of Nomati are hoping too much that so in coming days everything and every side it will be better.
So after winning, what would be your priority sector in your
My priority sector is education. Education will be the first and foremost priority, as we have discussed, as we have during the election campaign and all, we visited many of the places, and there we have seen that some education policy has to be adopted.
So definitely after winning, there is expectation
Yes.
of getting EM?
Like getting it, like we have like a party, a BGP is a party with difference. So whatever like a party have given, like it's depend upon the party. I'll go with the decision of the party, and I'll be party as a good BGP party worker.
Lastly, what is the margin you have won?
Like 3,447.
And meanwhile, BJP Kadam Terangpi emerged victorious from Saru Pathar.
ইমান সহায় যোগ কৰি আৰু আমাৰ লগতে মণ্ডল কমিটি আছে আৰু আমাৰ মহিলা মৰ্যা মই চবকে মানে বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছোঁ আৰু মোৰ এক মানে আমাৰ ডক্টৰ CM তুলৰাম ৰহন ছাৰক মই বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছোঁ। মোৰ কেম্পেইন সময় মই ক'লোঁ আমি জয় কৰাৰ পাছত কালি পৰহি আমি মণ্ডল কমিটি আছে মোৰ লগত আৰু আমাৰ টিকেট দাবিদাৰ মোৰ লগত আছে। মই চব মিলি আমি একেলগে আলোচনা কৰি আমি কাম কৰিব আগবাঢ়িম। মহিলা মই নিজে কেণ্ডিডেট হয়, মই নিজে MEC কেণ্ডিডেট হ'ব, MEC হ'ব, মোৰ লগত লৈ যাম, মই একেলগে আমি কাম কৰিম মহিলাৰ।
কাৰ্বি আংলঙলৈ যি শান্তি ঘূৰি আহিছে সেই শান্তি অব্যাহত ৰাখিবৰ কাৰণে আপুনি চেষ্টা চলাব?
মই চেষ্টা কৰিম আৰু লগতে মই বাৰে বাৰে কৈছোঁ আমাৰ মণ্ডল কমিটি আছে, মই লগত আলোচনা কৰি মই কাম কৰি যাম। মই বহুত ভাল লাগিছে আৰু মই চবকে মই মোৰ ফালৰ পৰা বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ আৰু মই ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিলোঁ। মোৰ দায়িত্ব আছে আৰু লগতে মোৰ মণ্ডল প্ৰেচিডেণ্ট আছে, মণ্ডল প্ৰেচিডেণ্টৰ লগত মই আলোচনা কৰি মই কাম কৰিব আগবাঢ়িম।
And we also have reactions coming in from Abhijit Crow, the BJP winning candidate from Shinthong.
জিকিলো, ৰাইজে কাৰণে জিকিলো, বহুত হেপ্পী হৈছোঁ। তাৰপিছত ফাৰ্ষ্ট অফ অল চিনথং ৰাইজে কাৰণে থেংক ইউ দিছোঁ। আমি চিনথঙত 20 বছৰ ফাইট কৰিলোঁ, 20 বছৰ ফাইট কৰিলোঁ, কিন্তু আজিৰ পৰা যিমান কষ্ট আছে গুচি যাব। 20 বছৰ কষ্ট কৰিলোঁ, আজি উইনাৰ হৈ গ'ল। আমি ৰোডটো বনাব লাগিব, আপোনাৰ ৰোড মিডিয়াকেইটা অহা কষ্ট, তাৰপিছত আমি স্কুল কলেজ আমি যাওঁ, বহুত কষ্ট হয়। তাৰপিছত তাত আমি বিজনেছবোৰ বহুত ভাল, কিন্তু আমি ট্ৰেন্সপৰ্টেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে বহুত কষ্ট হয়। তাৰপিছত এইটো কাৰণে আমি ফাৰ্ষ্ট অফ অল ৰাস্তা বনাম, ৰোড। ফাৰ্ষ্টত ৰোড, তাৰপিছত এডুকেশ্যন, তাৰপিছত হস্পিটেল, তাৰপিছত টুৰিজম, তাৰপিছত এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ। ৱাইজলি আহি থাকিব।
Now, meanwhile, the Congress has drawn a blank in the Karbi Anglong Council polls. The party has accepted defeat. Let's listen in to what party leader Bhupen Bora has to say about the drubbing.
আমি চেষ্টা কৰিছিলোঁ যে বিৰোধীৰো এটা স্থান কাৰ্বি আংলং স্বায়ত্তশাসিত পৰিষদত থাকিলে ভাল হয়। ৰাইজে কিছু সঁহাৰিও দিছিলে। গোটেইকেইটা ছাইডতে আমি সমানে যুঁজিব পৰা নাই, কিছু সীমাবদ্ধতা আমাৰ আছিলে। এইটো হয় যে 14 চনৰ পৰা এতিয়ালৈকে প্ৰায় 8 বছৰ সময় গোটেই ভাৰতবৰ্ষ জুৰি পেলাই বিভিন্ন নিৰ্বাচনবিলাকত আমি খুব কমেই জিকিছোঁ, একেবাৰে শোচনীয় হোৱা নাই। আৰু পৰিৱৰ্তনৰ আৰম্ভণি হৈছিলে আমাৰ দলৰ আৰু চৰকাৰৰ মাজত সেই সময়ত এটা খোৱা কামোৰা বিশৃংখলিত পৰিস্থিতি, যিটো এতিয়াও শেষ হোৱাকৈ নাই। এতিয়াও কম বেছি পৰিমাণে এটা ইনডিচিপ্লিন যিটো কয়, এইটো আমাৰ কাৰণে দুৰ্ভাগ্য। সম্পূৰ্ণ শৃংখলাটো যদি অহা নাই, তাৰ কাৰণে মই নিজকো জগৰীয়া বুলি ক'ব লাগিব। দলৰ সভাপতি হিচাপে মোৰো এইটো দায়িত্ব যে দলটোক এটা শৃংখলাবদ্ধ ৰূপত আগুৱাই নিয়া।
And with that, we'll take a very short break. News and updates continues when we return.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Acha? Introducing the new Suzuki Avensis, the sportiest, zippiest ride in town that's loaded with next generation GPS navigation. Simikot ase. Jodi moi koluheten ami matisu, tente wait karlaheten nohoy. The new Suzuki Avensis, Mosaic for trip.
Himalaya Purifying Neem Face Wash. এও এক্সপার্ট কেনে কই?
এইটো ক্লিনিক্যালি প্রুভেন হয় যে ইয়াৰ আছে নিম আৰু হালধিৰ এন্টিব্যাকটেৰিয়েল গুণ, যি পিম্পল আঁতৰ কৰে আৰু স্কিন কৰি তোলে একেবাৰে হেলদি।
বাহ!
Himalaya Purifying Neem Face Wash, pimple free, healthy skin or expert.
Oh, বাহ!
Oh, বাহ!
অপূর্ব ভ্যারাইটি, অপূর্ব মূল্য। ডাউনলোড মিশো।
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Acha? Introducing the new Suzuki Avenus, the sportiest, zippiest ride in town that's loaded with next generation GPS navigation. Simi kota ase? Jodi moi kolu heten ami matisu, tente wait karla heten nohoy. The new Suzuki Avenus, Mosaic for trip.
आज साल में हमने संभव को संभव कर डाला है नवयुग के सूरज का देखो पश्चिम में भी उजाला है रात गई अब दिन आएगा भी तो ये बस भोर है ये भारत का नया दौर 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 है
सेवा, सुशासन और गरीब कल्याण.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying on. Now, in what has come as Manipur government's tough stand on illegal encroaches of protected forest land in Manipur, a mega eviction drive was carried out today at the Waitho Protected Forest area. Now, the eviction drive was carried out in nearly a 2.5-kilometer stretch from the ITI Lilong to Waitho Khongnao Karak of the Imphal-More National Highway. Well, notably, the drive is a follow-up action of a joint survey conducted by the Forest and State Revenue Departments of the state. And on the other hand, the joint survey was facilitated by a departmental coordination that was put in place to identify encroachment in the protected forest land. While speaking to the media, the District Forest Officer of Thobal, P.H. Lokendra Singh, said that a total of about 180 illegal structures have been identified during the joint survey carried out by the Forest and Revenue Departments. And today, on the first day of the eviction drive, as many as 69 such structures have been demolished.
Eviction process going on at Waitho Protected Forest. So it affects from the most of parts of the Waitho Protected Forest, starting from ITI Lilong area up to this Waitho Khongnao Kachin area, and it covers more than 180 encroachers, out of which we are evicting 69 today. And for this, we have served this eviction notice on 10th of this month, and they have been asked to remove their belongings by 5 p.m. of 11, that means yesterday. And most of them have, voluntarily removed their houses, except few. And those who have not evicted by themselves. So we have used machineries like JCBs, and we have started evicting them right now.
All right, now the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma has taken a strong note of the poor performance by a section of government schools in the recently conducted HSLC examinations. Now, in a veiled warning to teachers of non-performing schools, Chief Minister Sharma said that there can be no excuse for non-performance when teachers are getting salary on time. While taking a sarcastic dig at the media persons questioning him over poor results, Chief Minister Sharma said, if the media stops sympathizing with non-performing schools and teachers, things can be fixed within 2 years.
অসমীয়া মাধ্যমত আসলে হাইস্কুল শিক্ষান্ত পৰীক্ষাত অতি বেয়া হৈছে 8জন থাকে ষ্টুডেন্ট 8জনো মানে পঢ়াই পাছ কৰিব নোৱাৰে
এতিয়া আপোনালোকে এই প্ৰশ্নখিনি শিক্ষকসকলক কৰিব লাগিব আকৌ তেওঁলোকে আন্দোলন কৰিলে আপোনালোকে পাব্লিসিটি দিয়ে মইতো আপোনালোককে বহুত দুখ দিম এইটো ক্ষেত্ৰত কৰবাত যদি গভৰ্ণমেণ্টে শিক্ষকসকলৰ ওপৰত অলপ কঠোৰ হ'ব খোজে বা প্ৰশাসকসকলৰ ওপৰত কঠোৰ হ'ব খোজে, তাতে আপোনালোকে মাজত আহি সোমাই দিয়ে। গতিকে আপোনালোকে যদি 2 বছৰ নোসোমাই মাজত, একেবাৰে 100ৰ ওপৰত পাছ হৈ যাব। আপোনালোকে 2 বছৰ যদি কৈ দিয়ে যে আমি নোসোমাও, চৰকাৰে অলপমান চেনেহ মৰম কৰিব পাৰে, আপোনালোকে পৰিৱৰ্তন 2 বছৰত দেখা পাই যাব। মইতো আৰম্ভ কৰিছিলোঁ, যিসকলে কমপ্লিট ফেইল কৰিছিলে হেডমাষ্টাৰসকলক মাতি আনি মই কথাও সুধিছিলোঁ। যিজনে মদ খাই মদ খোৱাটো অপেনলি কোৱাই দিছিলোঁ ৰাইজৰ আগত। আপোনালোকে মাজত সোমাই গ'ল, শিক্ষাগুৰুক অপমান কৰিলে, অমুক কৰিলে, মই বাদ দি দিলোঁ। এতিয়া ল'ৰাবিলাক ফেইল কৰিলে, কিন্তু তাৰ পিছৰ বছৰ গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট স্কুল সকলোতে 100% পাছ কৰিছিলে। গতিকে শিক্ষকৰ মাজতো সকলো 5টা আঙুলি সমান নহয়। সেই শিক্ষকৰ সন্মান কোনে পাব? যোনে সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে শিক্ষকৰ মৰ্যাদাটো গাত বান্ধি লয়। কিন্তু যদি শিক্ষক হৈ LICৰ এজেণ্টটো হয়, তাক আমি LICৰ এজেণ্ট হিচাপে গণ্য কৰিম নে শিক্ষক হিচাপে গণ্য কৰিম? এই কথাখিনি ক'লে আপোনালোকে মাজত আহি সোমাই দিয়ে যে অপমান কৰিলে, বেয়া কৰিলে, অমুক কৰিলে। গতিকে অকণমান আমি সকলোৱে ইয়াৰ দায়িত্ব ল'ব লাগিব, অকল শিক্ষামন্ত্ৰীক দায়িত্ব দিলে নহ'ব। এই যে 8খন জিলা, ইয়াতে 103খনত আপোনালোকে দেখিছে যে ল'ৰা পাছ কৰা নাই। যদি ভিতৰত সোমাই যায় আপোনালোকে দেখিবই যে ইয়াত কোনো ডেস্ক বেঞ্চৰ প্ৰশ্ন নাই, বিল্ডিঙৰ প্ৰশ্ন নাই, দৰমহা সময়ত পাইছে। কিন্তু তেওঁলোকে জানে যে চৰকাৰে কিবা একশ্যন ল'লে আমাকতো বচোৱা মানুহ বহুত আছে। চবেই কৰি থাকে, আপোনালোকে মাজত নোসোমা বুলি ক'ব লাগিব। প্ৰশ্নটো আপোনালোকৰ কাৰণে বিপদ হয় নহয়। মই ক'লো নহয়, মই এতিয়াও মোৰ ভিডিঅ'টো চাব, 5 লাখ 6 লাখ ভিউ আছে। মই সেৱাত মাতি নি ইমান ধুনীয়াকৈ কৰিছিলোঁ। লাগিলে মই এদিন অপমানে হ'লো। 10জন ছাত্ৰ যদি পিছত পৰীক্ষাত পাছ কৰে, কোনটো বেছি প্ৰয়োজনীয়? আমিতো মৰিম, নতুন প্ৰজন্মটো ভাল হওক। গতিকে নতুন প্ৰজন্মৰ স্বাৰ্থত কোনোবাই যদি 2টা গালিও খালে, সেইটোতো আপত্তি কৰিবলগীয়া নাই। কিন্তু আপোনালোকে টক শ্ব' পাতি এনেকুৱা হুলস্থুল লগাই দিলে, মই বাদ দি দিলোঁ। আপোনালোকে কঠোৰ হ'বই নিদিয়ে। এতিয়া এজন মাজতে আমাৰ টেটৰ ল'ৰা ছোৱালীবিলাকে মোৰে লগত ভাল স্কুল এৰি ধৰ্ণা দিব গ'ল। আপোনালোকেতো পেপাৰত ফ্ৰণ্ট পেজত দি দিলে। ক'ব লাগিছিলে ধৰ্ণা দিয় দে, ৰবিবাৰে দে, স্কুল চলি থকা দিনটোত কিয় দিলি? আপোনালোকে সেইটো প্ৰশ্নটো নুঠাই। শিক্ষকৰ ধৰ্ণা দিয়াত আপত্তি নাই, গৰম বন্ধৰ সময়ত ধৰ্ণা দিব লাগে, নহ'লে ৰবিবাৰে দিব লাগে। স্কুল চলি থকা দিনাখন যেতিয়া ধৰ্ণা দিব যায়, তেতিয়া আপোনালোকে এইটো নিউজ ফ্ৰণ্ট পেজত কৰিব নালাগে নহয়, তেওঁলোকে উৎসাহ পায়। গতিকে অলপ চলপ আমাৰ সকলোৰে দায়বদ্ধতাবিলাক আমি মূৰ পাতি ল'ব লাগিব। ৰবিবাৰে ধৰ্ণা দিয়ক না, একেই নিউজ হ'ব সোমবাৰে, কিন্তু এটলিষ্ট বাচ্চাকেইটাতো পঢ়িব। এই ধৰণৰ সচেতনতা অসমত আমি কৰিব পাৰিলে এই গণ্ডগোলবিলাক নহয়।
And there you have it, viewers. You heard it from the Chief Minister himself, and he's taken a strong note of the poor performance by a section of government schools in the recently conducted HSLC examinations. Now, in a veiled warning to teachers of non-performing schools, Chief Minister Sharma said that there can be no excuse for non-performance when teachers are getting salary on time. While taking a sarcastic dig at the media persons questioning him over the results, Chief Minister Sharma said if the media stops sympathizing with non-performing schools and teachers, things can be fixed within 2 years. Let's take a look now at some international updates. At least 115 people were found infected with COVID-19, while 6,158 were quarantined after a bar-related outbreak occurred in China, as China relaxed coronavirus measures a few days ago in Beijing. Now, a Beijing health official had said that the outbreak that started at a bar in Beijing is at a rapidly spreading stage and the transmission risk remains high. The Deputy Director of Beijing Disease Control and Prevention Center during a press conference said that more cases are expected to be discovered among the bar visitors and their close contacts. Meanwhile, China's capital, Beijing, is experiencing an explosive COVID-19 outbreak connected to a bar, and among the 115 cases, 107 are visitors to the bar named Heaven Supermarket, located in Sanlitun in Shoyang district. Well, at least 115 people were found infected with COVID-19, while 6,158 were quarantined after a bar-related outbreak occurred, as China relaxed coronavirus measures a few days ago in Beijing. A Beijing health official said that the outbreak that started at a bar in Beijing is at a rapidly spreading stage and the transmission risk remains high. Now, the deputy director of Beijing Disease Control and Prevention Center during a press conference said that more cases are expected to be discovered among the bar visitors and their close contacts. Meanwhile, China's capital Beijing is experiencing an explosive COVID-19 outbreak connected to a bar, and among the 115 cases, 107 are visitors to the bar named Heaven Supermarket located at Sanlitun in Chaoyang district. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in protest across the United States to push lawmakers to take action against gun violence in the wake of the recent mass shootings in Uvalde, Texas, and New York. Now, protesters have turned out to more than 450 rallies nationwide, with the largest gathering taking place in Washington, D.C. Well, the rallies were organized by March for Our Lives, a youth-driven organization first created by students who survived the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida in 2018. Now, March for Our Lives has called for an assault weapons ban, universal background checks for gun purchases, and a national licensing system. Since March for Our Lives last organized nationwide protests in 2018, mass shootings have become increasingly more frequent. Now, at least 254 mass shootings have taken place in the US so far this year. This is according to the Gun Violence Archive.
How many ways can we say it? Gun violence does not discriminate. It happens everywhere and all the time. It has been happening everywhere all the time because you, Congress, have done nothing to prevent it. This does not have to happen. We have watched other countries enact quick change in the face of gun violence over the decades. And you know something? It works! We watched it work! It's not that difficult!
We are here to stand with those who are bold enough to demand sensible gun legislation that will help to reduce the gun violence in our communities, that will stop the slaughter of our most precious commodity, people, human beings, sisters, brothers, fathers, grandparents, friends, and in my case, my 86-year-old mother.
Now, meanwhile, March for Our Lives demonstrations were also held in New York City. Protesters, angry and tired of mass shootings, say they want change or they will head to the ballot box to create their own. Organizers said more than 150 state laws were passed since the group's last march, but this time they are pushing for federal changes. Marchers made it across the Brooklyn Bridge to Lower Manhattan, where they stopped to listen to a series of speeches. And as per the event organizers, they count on strong turnout to lift gun laws higher on the federal agenda.
Has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. The NRA has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. I'm gonna dance with you. Children's lives matter. What? We are the people. Yeah, you gotta say it louder. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. What do we want? Gun control. Where do we want it? Now.
It just mean like how we need to stop normalizing this, because I feel we are getting to a point of like we're constantly getting so many different mass shootings, so many different like school shootings that we're just like normalized to the point that we're just like, this is just a part of life.
I think we're reaching a national tipping point, especially, well, I'm in ninth grade, but as I've seen over the past few years, the amount of gun violence that has happened, I think we're reaching a tipping point where we're about to hit desensitization to gun violence. And I think that we're not there yet. And I think that this is going to be the amount of mass shootings that has happened. I think that if this trend continues and if we don't choose to take this opportunity to fight back, it's going to continue again. The cycle is going to continue, and eventually people aren't going to be fazed by it anymore.
And it's hard because I'm very lucky to have not had to face that myself. But there are kids, and they're kids that are half my age, 10-year-olds. Who are being gunned down in cold blood, and their parents are never going to see them again. They're never going to see their kids again. My parents could come to my high school graduation, and they're not going to be able to say the same. And that's really what makes me mad. And it's like, it makes me scared, but it also makes me really angry that there are people that have the power to pass gun legislation and gun control laws that could prevent these sort of things. There are people out there that can do that, and they're refusing to. For what? For political power, right?
And on to some good news for burger lovers in Russia. McDonald's restaurants today flung open the doors in Moscow once again under a new Russian ownership and a new name, Vikusno and Tochka, which translates as delicious and full stop. Well, as per reports, the first 15 restaurants of former McDonald's Corporation reopened in Moscow, and another 50 restaurants will be open on Monday. Well, Sunday marks a new dawn for Russia's fast food lovers, as restaurants formerly run by the hugely popular Western fast food chain reopened under new branding and with renamed burgers more than 3 decades after McDonald's first opened in Moscow. And moving on now, European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen on Saturday visited Ukraine for discussions with President Volodymyr Zelensky about Ukraine's bid to join the continental bloc. While Kyiv has been pushing for rapid admission to the European Union since it sees the prospect of joining the EU as a way of reducing its geopolitical vulnerability, which has been exposed by Russia's invasion. Meanwhile, von der Leyen, on her arrival in Kyiv, tweeted, and I quote, "With President Zelensky, I will take stock of the joint work needed for reconstruction and of the progress made by Ukraine on its European path," unquote. Addressing the journalist, the European Commission President said that the discussions will feed into their assessment of Ukraine's readiness to be considered a candidate country to begin lengthy negotiations, including needed reforms. Von der Leyen further said that the assessment by her commission will be presented without any given time frame. It may be mentioned here that this is von der Leyen's second trip to Kyiv since the Russian invasion in February.
We'll have a lot to discuss.
Yes, with pleasure.
And back to news from the region. Intensive search operations are underway to trace the 2 Indian Army personnel deployed in forward areas of Anjao district in Arunachal Pradesh who went missing on May the 28th. Now, as per inputs, Naik Prakash Singh and Lance Naik Harendra Singh, deployed in a forward post of Arunachal Pradesh, may have accidentally fallen into a fast-flowing river in close proximity to their post. Now, despite immediate and extensive search and rescue operations, including aerial, reconnaissance, and tracker dogs being pressed into action, no success in recovery of the personnel has been achieved so far. Well, the search operations have been continuing for the last 2 weeks. A court of inquiry to investigate into the incident has also been convened by the army. Well, family members of the 2 soldiers of Garhwal Rifles have been informed of the unfortunate incident. Well, this is the big development we're tracking this hour. Intensive search operations are underway to trace the 2 Indian Army personnel deployed in forward areas of Anjao district in Arunachal Pradesh who went missing on May the 28th. As per inputs, Naik Prakash Singh and Lance Naik Harindra Singh, deployed in a forward post of Arunachal Pradesh, may have accidentally fallen into a fast-flowing river in close proximity to their post. Now, despite immediate and extensive search and rescue operations, including aerial reconnaissance and tracker dogs being pressed into action, no success in recovery of the personnel has been achieved so far. Well, the search operations have been continuing for the past 2 weeks. Well, a court of inquiry to investigate into the incident has also been convened by the army. Now, family members of the 2 soldiers of Garhwal Rifles have been informed of the unfortunate incident. Now, the passing out parade of the Indian Military Academy, or the IMA, was held on Saturday at Academy's premises in Dehradun. Well, during the elegant parade at the backdrop of the famous Chetwood building, as many as 377 gentlemen cadets, or GCs, graduated after completion of their training at the country's premier military academy. Now, viewers, what's more to add here is that Sumwang Wangsa from Arunachal Pradesh was one of the 377 cadets marching at the IMA passing out parade. With this, Sumwang Wangsa is commissioned into the Indian Army's Gorkha Regiment in Jammu and Kashmir. It may be mentioned here that Sumwang Wangsa is a native of Chhasa village in Arunachal's Tirap district. Wangsa did his initial schooling from Ramakrishna Mission School, Narottam Nagar in Deomali, and then joined the Sainik School in Pungalwa, Nagaland in 2011. Well, Sumwang Wangsa joined the NDA in 2018 and underwent 3 years of rigorous training there before joining the Indian Military Academy. While sharing this on Twitter, Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu congratulated Sumwang Wangsa. Chief Minister Khandu said that this achievement of Sumwang will inspire the youth to join the army and serve the country. Now on to the big national focus. In what has appeared as another instance of bulldozer justice, the Prayagraj Development Authority today carried out a demolition drive at the residence of Javed Mohammed, the mastermind behind the violent protest in the city. Well, this demolition drive, which is taking place amidst high security, comes just a day after Uttar Pradesh police named Javed Mohammed as a mastermind behind the violent protests that erupted against the former BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's remark on the Prophet. Well, earlier, the Prayagraj Development Authority, or the PDA, had served a notice to Mohammed to vacate the house by 11 today. Well, the PDA maintains that the house has been illegally constructed by Javed Mohammed. Well, the mega demolition drive today took place amidst high security in the GK Ashiana colony located in Kareli locality of Prayagraj's Old City area. Well, notably, the accused Javed Mohammed was already arrested in connection with the Prayagraj violence case. The Ranchi police has tightened security across Jharkhand's Ranchi following the violent protest that broke out on Friday against suspended BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's inflammatory remarks on Prophet Muhammad. Well, Ranchi police said prohibitory orders under Section 144 of the CRPC were imposed on 500 meters of both sides of the main road from Albert Eka Chowk to Sujata Chowk near Overbridge. Well, drone surveillance was also being carried out in the affected area to keep an eye on miscreants, according to the police. While security personnel were engaged in night patrolling, even as police authorities urged people to maintain law and order.
वो दिशा निर्देश हम अपने पदाधिकारियों को देंगे आपको
नहीं सर, रांची की जनता से कोई आप अपील करना चाहेंगे सर?
शांति बनाए रखें।
और जो लोग
Well, an uneasy calm still prevails in Ranchi, with streets being deserted as prohibitory orders remained in force in parts of the city and internet services were suspended. People were asked not to venture out or they would be taken into custody. No further violent incident has been reported in Ranchi after irate protesters swept through parts of the city on Friday, pelting stones and committing arson. The United Nations observes June 12 each year as the World Day Against Child Labor to bring attention to the evil practices of child labor across the world. Well, the International Labour Organization launched this day in 2002 to tackle this global issue against child labor. This year, the day is being observed under the theme Universal Social Protection to End Child Labor, which calls for an increased investment in social protection systems and schemes to establish solid social protection floors and protect children from child labor. While significant progress has been made in reducing child labor over the past 2 decades, progress has slowed over time, and it was even stalled during the period 2016 to 2020. Today, 160 million children are still engaged in child labor, some as young as 5 years. Well, the UN body established the World Day Against Child Labor in 2002 with the intent to foster worldwide movement against child labor. And on this day, state governments, local authorities, civil societies, and international workers and employers organizations come together to raise awareness on how child labor has economical and social consequences. Meanwhile, significant progress towards ending child labor requires increased investment in universal social protection systems as part of an integrated and comprehensive approach to tackle the problem. And that's all we have for you on the news at 5. I'm Aaron Lingdo. News and updates continues.
Northeast Live.